Good evening. Arthur Ashe was a force and a change agent whose legacy we proudly recognize. He is the only black male tennis player to win Wimbledon and the US Open and enshrined in the International Tennis Hall of Fame. The Arthur Ashe Award The Arthur Ashe Award for Courage is presented annually to individuals whose contributions transcend sports. Sports can often serve, as we all know, a very welcome distraction from the many challenges that life can bring us. But on a night like tonight, when we're celebrating the greatness of sports, we also have an opportunity to draw attention to injustice and to raise awareness for those who cannot raise it themselves. The war in Ukraine weighs heavily on all of our hearts. Thousands of lives have been lost, millions displaced from their homes, and the war continues on. In Ukraine's capital city of Kiev, you'll find many brave men and women who are fighting for their country. And among them is an extraordinary man named Vitaly Klitschko. One of the greatest heavyweight boxing champions of his era, International Boxing Hall of Famer, and Kiev's mayor. He's a man who will tell you very plainly that sports are part of the reason he's where he is. Vitaly is a hero who has shown the world what courage truly looks like.
As former fighter, I can tell you, in every battle, his main priority, it's not the size, it's not the power, the spirit. Spirit and will to win.
We never seek to leave. It's our homes. We defend our children, family, our buildings, our city, and our future of Ukraine.
My father told me, he was officer in Air Force, teach me, teach my brother, and told it's a big honor for every man to die if you defend your family, you defend your homeland.
Before Vitaly Klitschko was the mayor of Kyiv, before he was risking his life for his city, his country, and his people, he was another kind of fighter. He was a boxer.
Boxers like gladiators. You have to go inside the ring with just spirit. You have to win or you die.
He was 32-1 in 2003 when he got the biggest opportunity of his career, a shot at the world heavyweight champion, Lennox Lewis.
That's my first time ever seeing two big guys stood up and punch each other and tuck these shots, and Klitschko was bleeding, but he didn't want to quit.
The cut above Klitschko's eye was gruesome, but he kept coming forward all the same. Ahead of Lewis on all the scorecards, a dream upset in the making, until the ring doctor stopped it after the 6th round.
In this case, even though he lost, he won unmistakable respect.
He'd win the world title the next year and dominate the heavyweight division for nearly a decade before retiring in 2013. He was married with 3 kids and with all the money he'd ever need. But his dream was to become mayor of Kyiv, Ukraine's capital city.
Everybody understands that one of the largest countries in Europe have to be stable in political and economy. Instability in Ukraine can bring instability in the whole region.
Here is a rich, privileged, retired athlete. He doesn't need to be here.
I spent a big part of my life in the West, in the United States, in Germany, and I give me a question, why so simple things work very well in United States, Germany, it doesn't work in my home country? And that's why I'm decided to change the standards of life in my hometown and my home country.
Слава Украине!
He was elected mayor in May of 2014, a troubled moment for Ukraine. There had been a revolution a few months earlier, as well as an invasion by Russia that had led to the annexation of the country's Crimea region.
Vitaly represents a real dude, someone who's gone through serious training in order to achieve what he's achieved. And it is that training that I trust to play when he has a decision to make that's going to affect millions of people.
This February, tensions continued to escalate, with Russia threatening a full-scale invasion of Ukraine.
We have information from special forces. It's possible invasion in Ukraine, but until the last moment, we can't believe it can happen.
Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air, Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. We ask, could Kyiv fall in the next 24 hours?
You cannot understand the amount of fear, explosions and noise which was propelled through the city.
It was terrifying. Pretty much right away, the country started to get bombarded. First thing that happened is the airports were bombed. You know, some sort of infrastructure was bombed.
Non-stop, we have alarm, non-stop. Some citizens of our cities spend underground weeks or months. The people live underground in some way. And I'm visiting many times to tell the people, please don't worry. It's very important to talk to the people. It's very important to give a feeling they is protected.
Все організовує, жодна людина з вас зараз не залишиться на вулиці. Все, що потрібно, ми організовуємо.
This war doesn't have rules, because the images what we see is genocide.
The experts predicted Kyiv and Ukraine would fall in 3 days or less. Instead, the fighting spirit of Klitschko's people kept the Russians from taking over the city.
We are paying with blood for the security of Europe and more or less the security in the world, because if Russia would roll over Ukraine in 3 days, as I said, they would stop on a European border. But for how long they would stop? So imagine there will be no Ukraine. Who will be fighting them?
Nobody want to die, but if we died, it's huge privilege to give your life up for your homeland.
They're literally encircled by the Russian army. And when he says, we're willing to die, you don't doubt him.
The war in Ukraine is not anywhere close to over. There's more struggle ahead, more loss ahead, in Kyiv and beyond. But whatever happens, Vitaly Klitschko will be there, at home, with his people. A portrait of courage we should be galvanized by.
Він знакова, мабуть, людина не тільки для міста Києва, але й для всієї України.
Ну, по-перше, ще до війни Кличко, ще до його мерства, це була гордість країни. Бо як був не тільки героєм, як спортсменом, як героєм, він залишився, по-перше, людиною, і зараз він справжній герой, ну, я вважаю так.
Endurance is very important in the life, like in boxing. In this moment, it's very important to show you have stronger will to win. I trust myself. I trust my country. I trust my citizens, and that's why I'm more than sure we win this senseless war.
Vitaly Klitschko is in Kiev tonight continuing the fight. it is my privilege to honor him with this Arthur Ashe Award for courage. He and all the people in Ukraine are in our hearts.